ice and snow.
So the first two birds are ones that we would group in with the red-tailed hawk that you met first thing this morning. They're what we generally would refer to as a soaring hawk. They have a broad wing, wide from front to back, much like a vulture or an eagle. You can see how well they can use that with a little bit of wind to gain altitude without having to work too hard for it. And there's a vulture cruising behind us there with that same style of flight. Now these two are interesting in that there are two of them together. Most hawks, when we see them hunting, we do not see multiples of them hunting together, but this species is different. They're called Harris hawks. They're a native of the desert Southwest, and when you see the plumage as they come a little bit closer, you'll see that primarily they have brown and orange and red feathers, which would be very consistent with a desert habitat. And those brown and red and orange feathers help them to blend in. But as they fly away from you, you'll probably notice that they have a big white stripe on their back and a white patch at the top of their tail. That is not good for hiding in the woods, or rather in the desert. It's not really good for hiding anywhere. Have a big white stripe. We know that that white stripe and white patch for the Harris hawk is a means of cooperating with one another and of coordinating that cooperation. So in order to hunt as a group, you must first be able to identify and see easily those that are in your group. And we know that's what the Harris hawks use those white tail feathers for. Oh no. Oh my. That rabbit held on for a while. People always ask, well, why don't they just fly away? Well, because they've been reinforced over time with positive reinforcement that if they do what we ask them to do, they're going to get everything that they need. They'll be fed, they'll have safety, there's nothing bad going to happen to them. Why go anywhere if you don't need to, right? Take the easiest route. This is an owl native to Europe and Asia. It's called the Ural owl, U-R-A-L. Very similar to the barred owl that we have in South Carolina.
Right to my
Watch the shocked looks, right? It's fun. Falcons reach speeds in excess of 200 miles an hour. I doubt we'll see 200 miles an hour today, but this guy is quite fast. You're going to notice that he has to work a lot harder for altitude than the hawks did. Remember the Harris hawks, they had those big broad wings, and they just sort of turned into the wind and up they went. This guy, his wings are narrow. They're good for coming down, but in order to come down, you must first go up. And so you'll notice he's going to flap a lot. So the first thing, he's got to get his feathers back in place. That's called rousing. He just shook all his feathers, put them all back where they're supposed to be. Then he's got to unload the extra weight. Right? That's, all good pilots get rid of any extra weight before they take off. And that is a great adaptation. There we go. Now we're in the air. So lots of flapping. He'll use the wind, and then once he feels like he's got an opportunity to gain advantage, he'll make an attack on the lure. And that's where it's my job to try to pull it away from him if I can.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
Whoa, fast. The higher he goes, the faster he comes down. He thought he might win that time.
Shiver me timbers, let's sink. I'm going down with the ship.
Unlike that Italian captain, right?
Yeah, by the way, what a bastard, right? That was a bastard. He was a bastard. That's really bad. Abandon the ship and leave the people to die.
It works in the same principle. Okay. But they're pretty cool. It's really cool things.
Expensive you guys, you're obviously in some kind of service. I see no insignia whatsoever.
We're in the Navy.
Here's a sign I got a hold of on the Saturday of the South Carolina primary, and later turned out that Newt Gingrich won.